Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Walls of Wellness. I am your host, Dr. Kathleen Walls. I am super excited. It is Monday, the 22nd of December. I don't know how we got here so fast, but we're here nonetheless. And the new year will be here. And I mean, what are we saying? 9 days, 8 days? I mean, it's just rolling. We're coming in. And I figured, you know what? This really is the perfect guest for this time of year. We are talking to none other than Miss Rachael herself, the real Miss Rachael. Look, I'm no shade on the other one, but this one right here, this one is the one that's going to teach us about wealth building and legacy of wealth and starting from the little ones all the way up, because the reality is there was so much that we were not taught and we had to learn about money, many of us on our own, and sometimes what we learn now has to be unlearned so that we can learn properly and have a healthy and positive relationship with money. So I'm gonna bring her mic right on. Rachael, welcome, welcome, welcome to the show.
Thank
How
you
are
for
you?
having me.
Oh, of course. How are you doing today?
I am unstoppable. How are you?
You know what? How am I? I'm gonna say I'm good, moving to great, because every time you say I'm unstoppable, it lights something inside of me that says I gotta find that word that I resonate with. So before we jump into your background, tell me this: unstoppable. Where did that word come from for you?
Man, you see this on my wall.
I do.
I don't know. I picked it up a little while ago. The honest answer, I don't remember exactly when, but I
Hmm.
remember when I was struggling with like just feeling good about myself.
Hmm.
And people say, "How you doing?" I'm like, these people don't really want the real answer, right? They
Hmm.
just they just want to say fine and keep going.
Right.
And so when the answer was not good, I started
Yeah.
saying, "Oh, I'm unstoppable," because I
Uh-huh.
know, okay, that person's not going to ask me any further questions about how I'm
Yeah.
really doing. So
Yeah.
that's where it started. It started as a way of like deflecting, like, okay, I don't want people to ask me
Mm.
too much. I'm not doing well in this season.
Yes.
Um, but then when I got out of there, I was like, man, I'm unstoppable for real. Okay, I'm really unstoppable.
I love it. I love it. And you know what I love about that? And I know my audience is like, where is it? It's right here, y'all. It's right here. Okay. I got y'all. It is such a tambourine moment, right? Because feelings come and go. They are temporary. But a mindset, a state of being, that is more permanent and long lasting. And so when you say I'm unstoppable, it's not a feeling, it's a way of being.
Mhm.
And that's what I just love about it. So, with that, Miss Unstoppable, would you please introduce yourself to the people?
Well, sure. I am Rachael Hannibal. I am a certified financial educator. I am the National Financial Educator of the Year.
Get it. Don't get it twisted. She is the one. Google her. Find out for yourself. Go ahead.
For the last 12 years, I've been teaching financial freedom to all ages, starting at the age of 3,
Hmm.
gone all the way up to my current oldest client is 76. So I've been blessed to just have an intergenerational, what I call ministry, but
Yes.
where I'm able to teach all things money, budgeting, credit, entrepreneurship, investing, but in a fun, loving way.
Hmm.
And so I've been helping adults one on one as a personal finance coach on their road to financial freedom, and have been instructing the young people as well. So I'm completely debt free. I
Mm,
paid off all of my debt,
mm.
including my mortgage and student loan debt and cars and all that stuff. I have a perfect credit score. And I'm also an investor in real estate and small businesses as well.
All right. So y'all see. Oh, excuse me. I think I was supposed to go like this. Look, so
Now, my girls say I always use the wrong finger, but
I
I guess I
look,
got
look, I'm going like that. So that way I got them all. Look, look, that is amazing. So let's backtrack just a little bit. How did you get into this finance space? What led you here?
Growing up poor.
That'll do it. Next question.
Right. Hey, not having made me wanted to have. Sometimes it's that simple. One plus one is two,
Yes,
baby. I mean, we can be deep
yes.
if you want to, but it was just, I grew up not only, in a poor household, but like in a poor environment. The
Mm,
numbers say that 44%, like the area, my zip code specifically that I grew up in, was at a 44% poverty rate. Like
mhm,
those are just the numbers that were reported, right? So it's just
mhm,
like when you literally see this is your life, and at some point it just hit me that when they were in the middle of cutting something off
mhm,
again, it was just like, man, I don't think this is God's plan for my life.
mhm,
I couldn't believe they could take away your running water if you didn't have the money
mhm,
for it. Like as a kid,
mhm,
I'm like, this is crazy.
mhm.
What, you can turn off our lights if
That's
we don't
right,
have the money for it? Like
right.
that's not a thing. And so I just was like, you know what? I started speaking. I'm a millionaire in training. I'm a millionaire in
Mhm,
training.
mhm.
And I said, I got to figure out what that means. Like, what do the wealthy people do? What do millionaires do? And how can I,
Yes.
start to do what they do?
Mhm. And when would you say it kicked over for you? Like it moved, and very similar to your unstoppable statement. There was the mantra, then it became the mindset, then it became the way of being.
Yeah, I would say that for a while, didn't really know what that meant. And then when I started coming out of high school, I'm like, okay, I need to figure out what this means. And the light bulb really went off when first year in college, I had an assignment to, you know, read the Street Journal, but I was only
Mhm,
supposed to read a one part. And
mhm,
then I just started to read all of it. And then I just kept getting it and kept getting it. And it was, they were teaching me all the things about, these words. What does investing mean? What does this mean?
mhm,
Things I had never heard of before. And I viewed that as me sitting down talking to friends. I was like, these are my friends, and they're giving me information that no one gave me before, right? And so I think that when I saw certain things, certain words on paper, that was really the thing. It's like you say something in theory, right? But if you don't
mhm.
know anyone who's, wealthy, okay, what does that mean, right? And so
Right.
I think that was the light bulb moment where I was like, okay, this is a switch over. Now I can do these things. I have the information now.
Yes, yes. I love it. So you made it relatable, you connected to it, and you, dare I say, and correct me, I'm really asking, would you say you became one with it?
Yeah, it took me a while though,
Mhm,
because again, I already approached it as I don't know this stuff. I don't know these kinds of people. It's like this is a
mhm,
foreign language. But
mhm.
then when I realized I was picking up the language, and I noticed that because I was, sharing it with other people,
Yep.
right? It was like you learn something new, you want to just go around and tell everybody.
Yes.
I was like, wait, I'm picking this stuff up. Now
Right.
I'm becoming one with it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took me a
Yeah.
little while.
I was watching a show yesterday, and Emily in Paris. And so she was taking French classes, and then all of a sudden there was a moment where she just started speaking it. And her
Mhm.
teacher said to her, like, well done, like you finally became one with it. And she didn't even realize it had happened. She just responded in French. And that's what I'm hearing you. It's like you're consuming, you're consuming, you're consuming, and you're ingesting, and then at some point it metabolized.
Yep. Yep.
And so now, when did it become your life's work? When did you realize this was not just a personal story, but this was also a calling for you to help others?
For me, it was about, okay, I'm noticing I went through all years of school, all my 12 years of school, and no one mentioned anything about like budgeting or credit or whatever. Like, as I'm learning these things, I'm thinking, why is this breaking news to me? How come I've never
Mhm,
heard these words before? And so
mhm,
it also clicked to me as I'm sharing that most of the people around me that I know and love dearly, I spent the most of my life with, didn't know these things either. And
yeah,
so it became, I always say that the new restaurant theory in my mind is like when you find a new restaurant that you love, you want everyone to go. You should go try this. You post it on
mhm,
social media, you tell everybody. It was like, man, I have to start telling people. And so I would go back to my old neighborhood and sit down with the parents of the young people I went to school with, and I would ask them about their retirement accounts, and I would explain certain terms to them and all that they, didn't know, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so we would talk about credit, and then it kind of just began to spread literally like wildfire.
Mm.
That I would help one person, and then they would call their sister on the phone. I got this girl here, and she said this and that. Or they would tell, and it was like, hey, tomorrow, can you go over this person's house? And I would, for 2 full years for free, I would drive to people's homes and during their dinner at the dinner table, and we would have
Wow.
we would have wealthy conversations. So
Yeah. Yeah.
they would already have printed out their benefits from work or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
their credit reports, whatever it is they wanted me to look over, and I would do it. And then they would say, hey, I told someone else you can come over. And that happened again, 2 years of me just driving and sitting and eating fried chicken, whoever, just helping them out, whatever. And one young lady, she stopped me at the door and she said, you have to let me pay you.
Mm.
Can't keep coming here. She said, my credit is doing great. This is happening. This is happening. She said, all the things you've been telling me is working. And I can't keep letting you help me for free. So you have to name your price. And I had never
Mm-hmm.
thought about entrepreneurship, like that this was a business. I was like, I just want to help people. It's okay. Um, I said, it's $25 too much. I was so scared to give her a price. But I mean, she had me standing outside the code and said, you cannot come in my house and help me anymore until you name your price. And so she said, all right, $25 it is. And so that's where
Mm-hmm.
the business part of it started. But for 2 years, people would let me help them for free,
Look at that. I bet
paying
they
me
were. Look,
in pasta
the
and,
food.
and chicken.
Yes. Yes. I have eaten my way through many. Look, that started in college. People learned that I could type. They like, look, we'll give you lunch, we'll buy you dinner. Look, but it helped if we needed that, right? It was part of the
Yeah,
building blocks to where we
yeah.
are now. So now you provide this service professionally. So, what are some of the services that you provide currently?
So for my one-on-one clients, we build a personalized financial plan that helps you get from where you are to where you want to be. Um, I assist each client in defining what this financial freedom look like for them, because we all
Hmm.
have, different answers there. And oftentimes we have answers that were given to us that are not
Oh,
even ours, right?
well, let me pause you 1 second, Rachel. For those who are new to the show, welcome. Please hit that subscribe button. And if you don't know, now you're going to know. Whenever you attend one of my shows, I encourage people, make sure you have a pen and piece of paper next to you or an open tab or some way to collect some of this knowledge because she about to go in. I'm just letting you know. I know it's set up when I feel it. All right. She about to drop some stuff. Also, make sure you share this out to other people who need to see it. The replay will be up, but you also have the opportunity to ask some questions, and we'll get to as many as we can. But her contact information, her website is also in the chat, so you can be sure to reach out to her. All right, go ahead, Rachel. Let them have it.
We first start with, defining what does financial freedom look like for you as an individual, not just what your parents told you it should be or in social media or whomever, right? And so we start there, and then we also go into where are you? What is your financial confidence level now? And again, creating a personalized plan step by step that fits your lifestyle, fits your comfort level, fits your where we can improve your relationship with money and also get you to where you need to be financially.
Mm-hmm.
And so for some of my clients, they come to me once a year. They come every quarter. Some come in the beginning every month, depending on what your money goals are. And after 12 years, I've helped people with every kind of money goal you can think of. I've helped a lot of men save for engagement rings. I've helped
Mm-hmm.
people put their kids through college. I've walked in
Mm-hmm.
houses that I've helped to purchase. And so it's currently walking a couple through IVF, which is beautiful. And so you can, all the things that, finance, whatever, financial freedom looks like for you, I
Yeah.
serve in that way.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
amazing. And I know when I have worked with people around money, it's getting past their thoughts and their fears. Do you come across a lot of people with fears around money?
I've come across everyone has fears with money.
Hmm.
Now, some of us, our fears hold us back, from moving, from making steps. But we all have some level of fear when it comes to our financial future.
Hmm.
And future could be tomorrow for
Hmm.
some
That's
people.
right. That's right.
For some people, they okay for the next 5 years, but after that, they worried about that. And
Yes.
so, yeah, the fears are for the most part that we've been told that we're not worthy of more, that
Hmm.
we're irresponsible, right? We don't think
Hmm.
that we're going to be responsible with abundance, even though that's what we're
Hmm.
asking for, even though that's what we're
Hmm.
praying for. We're not sure we're going to do the right thing with it. And so a lot of people just say, just don't give it to me. I don't want
Hmm.
more because I don't know the kind of person I will become when I get more.
Come on. That is so rare. And then we know we those of us who were partiers in the 1900s, like in the 90s, more money, more problems
Hmm.
was a big statement that a lot of people adopted. And unfortunately, as we talked about early on, it's a mindset. And if you firmly believe more money, more problems, then it's like, how many people are saying bring the problems? And so if you link the two together, when you say, I don't want any problems, if it's linked, you're also saying, then I don't want the money.
Yeah. Yeah. And ultimately, I believe that you still have the same amount of problems. You just have different problems.
That's right.
You
And
just have different problems.
that's right. And the skills, you got to build the skills to manage
Mhm.
whatever problems you come with. And
Yeah.
I would say the other thing is there's also, someone's telling me that they don't have any sound. That's interesting. Other people, let me know if there's no sound. Okay, no, we got
Okay.
some other people who saying they do have sound. All right, we got to check the technical sound
Okay.
is
Great. Great.
fine. All right, thank you,
Awesome.
thank you, thank you. Yeah, so we have to look at what are those money beliefs that you, like you said, that you have grown up with that are either yours or that you've adopted from other people, and take an honest look at that. I call it honest inventory. I know for me, and we had a chance to be at a wellness event together. What was that, about 2 weeks ago
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
Right. And as soon as I met her and heard her, I was just like, okay, I need you on this show because we have some myths to dispel.
Yes.
And right, one of the questions you had said when you talk to children, and this can go with people of any age, do you remember you said you
Mhm.
asked the question? Go on and ask the audience that question. And
So
y'all put
because
it in the chat and let's see what they say. Go
I
ahead.
mentioned earlier that I mentioned I was a millionaire in training when I was younger.
Hmm.
All my classes are called millionaires in training classes. And in the beginning, we play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And so I asked the young people, raise your hand if you want to be a millionaire. And I mentioned how, let's ask it in the chat, who wants to be a millionaire?
That's right. Put a one
Before
in
I,
the chat
before we
if
go
you
before we go on with the rest of the game,
yes, yes, yes. Put a
we
one
can
in
play
the
the
chat if you want to be a millionaire.
we can play the
Let's see.
millionaire game together.
Come on, I'll start
Let me
y'all
know.
off.
Let me know. Let me know. Do you want to be a millionaire? Yes, no, hands up. If
Come
you want to be
on.
a millionaire. Okay,
Oh,
okay.
it's
I'll take the
coming.
one.
Yes, yes.
Oh, Soda Soul. Hi.
Oh, you know my Laverne, you know Vern.
Hey. Of course.
Come on now.
Okay, okay. You want to be a millionaire? Well, here's the thing, right? I told you that my classes start for 3-year-olds, and it never fails. I've been traveling. It's been 145 schools and universities across the nation. There's always at least one child, mostly two, who will say they don't want to be wealthy. They don't want to be a millionaire. And I ask them why, and it's because they say that money makes people bad people,
Mhm,
and that their parents are teaching them to be kind people, and
mhm.
mostly all the kind people they know are poor. And
Wow.
so they are afraid that money is going to turn them into a terrible human being, because all the movies and shows and all of that they're seeing, wealthy people are doing not so great things to become wealthy, right?
Mhm,
They are not the heroes of the story in most cases.
mhm,
So
mhm.
um, that is something that always, I go to sleep with that every night, every
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. And you know what? And it's real. And I had to work through that myself. I remember being in my 20s and 30s and working through that because it was like, what are your thoughts about money? Who have you seen that has had lots of money? And what type of people and impact were they having in the world? And right, am I mature enough to handle that? Am I a good steward of it when I do have it? Like these were all my internal questions that I had to sit down and work through. Go ahead. What you thinking?
No, I'm reading that. Now I rebuked it. So do I. So
Yes,
do I. And I tell them that I'm on a mission to make sure that some good people get some good money, because
that's
to
right.
me, that's a terrible reason for a 7-year-old to tell me they don't want to be wealthy. I just think that,
Hmm.
and they're all so talented and they're all so, their futures are so bright, but just to put these limits already at such a young age just
Yeah,
because of this is painful. But you know what? As I'm ministering with adults and as I'm speaking with adults, they have the same fear. They think the
yeah,
same way.
yeah, yeah.
Think
So
the
how do
same.
you help them cross over and get the fear away, rebuke the fear, and step into their greatness and their gifts and the glory of it?
So a big part of why my business is so blessed and successful is because I became the thing. I
Mm,
became the thing. So they can no longer say we don't know anyone who has a perfect credit score. We don't know anyone who's wealthy but not kind, right?
yes.
I became the thing so they can now say, "Oh, well, we know
Mm,
someone. Wait a minute now, you're a pretty good person and
yes.
you are kind and you're
Yes.
considerate, but you're wealthy, you're financially free." And so that's a big part of it. Becoming the thing was huge because growing up, as I was talking about, even become getting out of debt, they were like, "We don't know anybody who's debt free. That's not even really a thing.
Hmm.
You're gonna always owe someone." Da, 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 da. And I'm like, you now know someone
Watch
who's debt
this.
free, right? Let's talk about it. So that's part of it. That's a huge part of it, right? And
Mhm.
so that does a lot of the heavy lifting. And then we talk about it only magnifies who you already are. Are you a bad person?
Wait a
Are
minute, wait a minute.
you
Look, look, look. We don't know which finger it is to do the clocking, so I'm gonna just hit all of them. Look, go ahead.
the light only illuminates what's there. If you are going to get a bigger platform, if you're making more money, whatever it is, if it's not there, then it's not going to magically appear, right? And
Hmm.
so I often encourage them, hey, what you do with the $100 you have, you're pretty good with that. You're going to do the same great things with the $1,000,000, right?
Hmm.
And you just need to have certain principles in place and certain tools in place, and
Come
that's what
on.
I'm here for. But I can't imagine you're ever going to be a terrible person. And I tell the young people that, like, you are really great. I can't imagine
Hmm.
you not. There's what can be that thing that can
Yes.
turn you to not be as an incredible person as you are now. And they agree with me. And so that's the thing. By the way, I have this same pep talk with the adults because adults are just big kids.
That's right. Come on. a hundred
So
percent.
I speak to them in the same way. What do you do with your resources now?
Yeah.
I see you volunteering at your church. I see you doing this, and you're serving this. You're just going to do that times 100
Yes.
if you were wealthy. And
Yes.
so those are the things that we sit with.
Yes. Yes. All right. We have a user here. She said, "Let's expel that now. I release more money, more problems."
Yes,
I know that's right.
yes. Now there's different problems,
Mm-hmm.
and you have less people to talk to about those problems, right?
Mm,
Because if you have problems that are under $50,000 a year, right? Maybe most of the people you know can relate to that. So you have
mhm.
somebody to call if you need some input on some insight on what to do with this income bracket, right?
Right,
But as you climb, you're going to find that right now in my circle, I don't really have people that I can talk to about making my payroll for my company, right?
right,
The most people I
right,
love, they don't have those problems, right?
right.
So it feels heavier because you can't share that load with the people that you've always shared other
Mm,
loads with. But that just means you need to shift your circle, not getting rid of anyone, but just expand so that you
expanded.
can be able to have that insight and that wisdom
Yeah,
and that accountability with someone who understands these new problems that you have.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for participating in the chat. If you are new to Ask Dr. Walls 525, welcome, welcome. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button. It don't cost you nothing but a moment and a tap. So please be sure to do that. We are here with Wealth Educator of the Year 2025, Miss Perfect Credit Score, Rachael Hannibal herself. She provides a number of services. I will drop her website in the link again. One of the other things that she has is a book called Amber's Magical Savings Box. Let's talk about that. How did that book even come to pass? And let me tell y'all, it's a children's book, but it absolutely works for all of us because the skills and the techniques are the same. Go on, Rachael.
Well, when I was doing my sessions with adults, when I had to switch them to virtual because I couldn't keep driving everywhere, um, a lot of times the young people, their children would be, popping in and out of videos with me. And so I said, well, I guess we're all talking about money now. And
Yeah.
so it began to grow to let me look for resources that I can give my clients who have young people who have children that they can relate to. So as the parent is getting better with their, relationship with money, that they can take the children on along for the journey. And it really just started out with me just going bookstore to bookstore, just looking for something that was already written. I was like, it has to be something.
Right.
And so after going to the fourth bookstore, I sat outside of Barnes and Noble in Plymouth Meeting in the parking lot, and I just started writing, scribbling down the back of a receipt, Amber's Magical Savings Box. Because I felt in that moment, after me being discouraged that I could not find a book that already exists, I felt God saying, you're supposed to do it. That's why you can't find it.
That's right.
And that's where it started. I was like, I wasn't planning on writing a book today.
That's how you always get got.
But the fire was still there, and it was easy. It became easy to write it because I'm sitting on these Zooms. It's been this at this point, I'm 5 years in of serving adults, and they always say what they wish they would have known when they were kids about money. And so I'm like, now I can just put all these things into a book, and instead of just looking for one that's already created, I'll create one for the young millionaires. And so
y'all, come on.
That's how we got here. And I wanted it to be interactive. I put all those things, all those gems that the adults said that they wish they would have known.
Yes.
Put them in a book for the young people.
Yes. Yes, I know, Shane. Yes, it sounds very, very familiar. Yes, it does. Froggy T and Bunny. Yes. Well, I mean, when it comes down to it, right? If it's not there and we can feel it, we feel it. And like you said, and it's a wonderful read. I had a good time. It is interactive. So the teacher in me appreciates the interaction within a book. Simple math, right? With goals, but knowing how to build this skill. So it starts with Amber. Well, you go on and tell the story.
So Amber is everyone in school has this magical toy, and she wants one too, but she doesn't want to just ask for it. She wants to work for it. She wants to figure out how she can earn the money and save the money to buy the toy herself. So she's a little independent one. And she does. She puts a plan in place. She begins to help her mom with more things around the house. She has a younger brother, and she begins to help her dad with certain things with the car. And she gets paid. She gets paid $1 or $2 here, $3 there, some change here. And she puts a plan in place. She finds out how much the toy is. She puts a plan in place to earn the money and to save the money. And now she has some little setbacks. At one point, she loses some money.
Yes.
She loses some money, and we have to follow her on her journey. And there's a part in there where the young people have to write an encouraging note to Amber because she said
I
she
love
lost
that
money.
part.
Yes. She lost money, she said.
Y'all, I need an encouraging note when I was trying to learn, and we're going to jump into the stock market investing and things like that. Anybody that's ever done any stuff around the stock market and you lose some of the money, you need an encouraging note from a friend. So I appreciated that part in here.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
just basic. In the back, there are affirmations.
Yes.
That and there are places where they can write what their money goals are. Again, the
Mhm.
intention is to start them with a positive relationship with money.
Yes.
The studies show that your relationship with money is formed by the age of 7. There are multiple studies that show that
Whoa.
I've been digging into throughout the years. So you know before you hit the double digits whether money is your friend or your enemy
Mm.
based on the things that you heard or experienced in your
Yes.
single digit years. And so my intention is to kind of help them know money is your friend. And, yep.
Yeah. Let me tell you what's so funny. When I heard you say that money, your relationship with money is established by 7 years old, my mind went back to a memory when I found a nickel when I was little, and my older brother was trying to get it from me, and I swallowed it.
Oh,
I
I'm like, no,
said,
no, no, not
I
here.
said, you ain't getting this money.
Not neither one of us gonna have
I put it in the ultimate savings bank.
it. Wow.
Look, I was serious about what was mine. Don't play with me when it comes to my money, honey. Look, so but that popped right in my head, and I was like, "Yo, I got to sit for myself. What does that mean?" But it was like holding on to it, and then thinking about the lessons that my parents taught with money, and just what did I see, as well as what was I explicitly taught.
Yeah.
And I think those types of reflections that you're encouraging families to do is very important. And this is why I wanted you to come on at this time, because we are in the holiday season where people are spending a lot of money, whether they've budgeted for it or not. And then there's the recovery time for a lot of people. Go ahead, you shaking your head like you in the church audience. What you thinking?
Ah, man, listen, I say you shouldn't still be paying for Christmas after Valentine's Day,
Come
but
on.
I mean, buy now, pay later is really getting us, having us in the chokehold.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
um, yeah, we really need to make sure that we're keeping the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to check our intentions and the why are we doing this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, is this competition? Are we doing this out of obligation? Are we teaching our young people the wrong lessons with
Mm-hmm.
buying them whatever they want?
Yeah.
So especially moving forward, we definitely have to be more mindful of where we put our currency
Yeah.
moving forward. So
Yeah. I think that, again, right, great conversations. And I think a book such as Amber's Magical Savings Box, I encourage y'all to go on and get yourself a copy. Y'all saw them prices on Amazon. Click that thing, go on and get yourself one. It's a great stocking stuffer for self if you want to support an independent author, but also for loved ones as well, to encourage this wealth building mindset and legacy. Again, applicable principles that we can use for ourselves. What's your goal? I encourage people, put what's your goal in the chat. What do you want? Like, I definitely want a private plane. Now that's what I want. I will settle on the fact that if I have to rent one, that will do too, but I would like my own because I like to get up and go when I want to go. So these are mindset changes. If I believe I can have it, then I'll work towards it. What do I need to do? The same way Amber did. There was a magical toy that she wanted. She said, "How am I going to get it?" Thanks to her auntie. "What you going to do?" She said, "Okay, well, let me find some chores." And that was the thing that I liked about the book as well. There is ownership, accountability, responsibility. All of these things are being taught on how, in the process of her acquiring this magical toy that she wanted. It just wasn't about the toy. It was also seeing how she could be a good family member, a good helper, a good caretaker. Go ahead, Rachel. What else? What other nuggets are in there that you embedded so smoothly?
well, I definitely, again, we mentioned the setbacks. I need them to know that setbacks will happen
Yes.
on any level, whatever it is, whatever any goal that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Setbacks are going to happen. That is okay. I also wanted them to understand the power in giving that encouraging
Yes.
message that we all are dealing with setbacks, right?
Yes.
But just opening their eyes to the superheroes that are their parents,
Come on.
because all this time, Amber has had a little brother and never really thought to start, being extra with helping out,
Yes.
but she wants something. She's like, oh, wait a minute, mom needs an extra two hands for this, two for this,
Mhm.
for this.
Mhm.
And just hoping that, that will be an eye opener too, moving forward, to say like, hey, I haven't really considered that, dad really could use an extra hand with these tools if he's,
Right?
if he's working on the car.
Yes.
So there's a few things that, yeah, I did slide
You
in
slid
there.
it in there. Yep. The community support in this process as well, right? So everybody got on board. Grandmom got on board. Auntie was on board. Dad, mom, everyone.
Yep.
Now, only because of time, I want to shift. You mentioned some other pieces as far as wealth building. You mentioned real estate. You mentioned investing. Can you talk a little bit about that for us?
Well, we have to make sure we are investing, because inflation, mostly because of inflation, is the reason why we need to make sure that our money is growing, because our expenses are growing.
Mm-hmm.
And if the money that whatever you're going to pay 10 years from now is going to be, it's more expensive than it is today. And so we need to make sure that we're investing, whether it is for retirement or whether it is just for, things you want to do in the future. Uh, Investing in mutual funds. We need to make sure we're investing in index funds, things that are safe, that are going to make sure that our money is growing and we don't have as much risk. I want to encourage everyone, whatever, create an investment plan. If you don't have one,
Mm-hmm.
create an investment plan. It can just be, hey, 1%, I'm going to start with 1%, or maybe I'm going to increase my investments by 1% next year.
Mm-hmm.
There is a challenge that I did some years ago on social media where we started with $1 a day investing, and
Mm-hmm.
we opened up a brokerage account together, and
Okay.
we all had automatic transfers that would equal up to $1 a day. So some people did on the 30th of every month, transfer $30. Some people did $15 every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But it was about starting small and
Yes.
getting your feet wet and getting comfortable with investing. And so
Mm-hmm.
there's multiple different ways. We mentioned real estate. We mentioned, again, retirement investing. We mentioned stocks, bonds, those kinds of things. There's multiple ways that we can invest, but you definitely need to be doing something, making sure your money is growing and
Yeah.
be consistent with it. Being consistent with it.
And let's talk, right? The consistency is one, and the time that it takes. We end up in our current state, we watch social media, we look at videos. We don't realize how long it takes for people to build the knowledge, the portfolio,
Mhm.
the real estate. We see this flipping, buying and flipping, and we're not aware of the time.
Mhm.
Can you speak to that?
Yeah, one of the main things I've been saying with the last few years, especially with AI, is like, hey, if you think that something is going to take your job 5 or 10 years from now, you need to start putting your money aside for that now, because the time it's going to take for you to build up enough to be okay with, a
Mhm,
robot taking your job, if that's how you feel,
mhm,
um, then you need to make sure you start today. And it's the same with, again, when you talk about real estate, they have to build up equity,
mhm,
right? And so encourage people, always start now, start where you are. Don't wait until, one of my clients said yesterday, I want to, when I'm wait till I get to $5,000 to start investing. And I was like, why would you do that? When
mhm,
you can start, you actually be better off doing $50 every month or doing $100 every month now, instead of waiting until you get to $5,000 to start
mhm,
investing. And so, yes, the build up, we're at an average of 8% return if you're talking about the stock market. And the index funds and mutual funds, if you're talking about that. Real estate can be even trickier depending on where you are.
mhm,
Are you flipping it, or are you a landlord? So those kinds of things gets a little bit more tricky, but all of it takes time. None of it is overnight. None of it is just 6 months. None of it is just a year. And so
mhm,
you definitely want to make sure when you're building that investment plan, that you are factoring in time. You're
mhm.
factoring in time and getting started as soon as possible.
For you, what would you say have been some of your biggest challenges and hurdles for you personally?
For me personally, when it comes to investing specifically,
In any part of this whole wealth building process?
oh man, for me, I struggle with what I call poverty PTSD. Now, I don't know if that's the real term for it, if I just
Girl,
need
you done
that.
see, that's a whole book. That's a whole book or a podcast and or both.
I would hoard cash
Mhm.
because I just was so afraid of not having again.
Mhm.
And I ended up losing money
Mhm.
because I wasn't investing it. I would just keep a whole bunch of money. At one point I had over a year's worth of income saved in a regular old savings account.
Mhm.
And that is not a good idea.
Right.
That is not a good idea. um for everything, all the reasons I just mentioned earlier, right? It would
Yes.
have been better if I was slowly investing that, over time.
Mhm.
And so, but
Mhm.
I was just so afraid that of being poor again, and it would literally wake me up in the middle of the night of the possibility
Mhm.
of being poor again. And so that kept me from a lot of investing, a lot of money that I could have had, it could have been building,
Mhm.
if it didn't take me so long to just be okay with, I'm okay. I'm
Right.
okay. I'm not gonna be,
Right.
it's gonna take a lot for me to be poor again. And so that took me some years and that cost me some money. And so that
Mhm.
was probably my biggest hurdle because that was the longest it took me, to get over. I had to sit down in therapy, I had to have some
Come on.
conversations with God. I mean, it was
Yes.
really because it was like, is this really for me?
Mhm.
Is this really
Mhm.
for me? Is somebody going to come try to take my nickel? I'm gonna have to swallow
Yes.
my nickel now.
Yes.
Someone,
Yes.
someone's going to try to come take it.
Come
Someone's
on.
going to realize that this little poor girl from the hood does not deserve to have all this, and they're going to figure out a way to
Mhm.
take it from me. So I'm just going to,
Mhm.
like a security blanket, just hoard it all. And
Mhm.
so that was my biggest hurdle.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. I see. I'm assuming this is my brother. It's a different handle than what I know, but he said that poverty PTSD is a real issue. He's also a financial advisor and he does a lot of work with the community for a lot of the same reasons as you mentioned. This idea that so much information, there was gatekeeping, right? We didn't have the information, we didn't know who to turn to for it. We learned some strategies that were quote unquote safe or functional at one time, but have moved into a space of dysfunction and not necessary. Like, look, you see it. He
Come on,
said,
stop
"Karen, you know
playing
it's me.
games.
Stop playing."
It's like
Look,
blue.
right? Because how many of us, right? You put the money in the shoebox, right? You hide it under the floorboard, and it's like, okay, what is it gonna do in there? And heaven forbid, there's a flood, there's a fire, there's a this, right? It's up in smoke. It's not, and it's not building. We're talking about wealth building. We're talking about currency. We're not talking about stagnation, right? Currency, there's movement with currency, there's building, there's action there. Go ahead. What's going through your mind?
I'm just agreeing with you. I'm just having an amen moment, just
Okay.
amen.
Come on, clap. Come on, come on, come on.
I
Let's
don't have
clap.
my,
Come on.
I needed my
Come
tamarine,
on, go get a
but I don't have
tambourine.
it. I don't have it. My mama has it.
Where it? Come on, mama,
My
because
mama must have
we
it.
tambourine time over
I
here.
don't have it at my house.
Let
It's at my
me
mama's house.
find out you
But
a
you're right.
tambourine shaker. Look, so yeah, we have to, and this is part of that mindset shift. So I'm very interested as we come to the end of 2025 and as we're rolling into 2026, what is that mindset shift that people can make to move forward? What is that new skill, right? Even if it's just one thing that you choose to do, as you talked about moving something out of a traditional savings account into an account that's going to yield more. If somebody hears this and says, huh, I hadn't thought about where I could move it to. Baby, like a baby step. What would you recommend for people to do?
High yield savings account is the easiest thing if you want to have money saved, but you want to make some more money on it than it would have been on a traditional savings account. Put it in a high yield savings account. You get more returns for your money, and it can build there. But even with that, you should still put a cap on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you need for emergencies? How much do you need to have saved to sleep better at night, to
Mm-hmm.
have more peace? create that number and then build up to that number. Beyond that, now we have to do a little bit more investing. Now we have to start dumping more money into what does it look like to spread out our money in investments. So don't even when you get to the high yield savings account, still don't hoard it there.
Yes.
Don't be ridiculous about it. But
Yes.
like
Yes.
me, but yeah, that's the easiest first step you can do. Here's what I
Okay.
say: you need to have a side of the road fund. A
Hmm.
lot of people, when you say emergency fund, no one really knows what that means, right? Because
Hmm.
everyone has different ideas of emergency in their mind. So I say side of the road. What can you do? How much do you need to get off the side of the road? You need enough to get a tire. You need enough to maybe get a battery, maybe get some gas, and maybe even a copay if someone hits you, right?
Hmm.
Okay, well that's $500, maybe $1,000 can get you off the side of the road. That's
Hmm.
your real emergency account, right? Other than
Yes.
that you have instant access to. Other than that, we can shift it over to a high yield savings account. And many of those, you don't really have the instant access to all the money there.
Yes.
You have to wait a little while, which is good. It keeps down on the impulse spending. But that's where that's the small shift that you can do that you can get some great returns.
I love that. It's so simple, right? And let me clarification. When you're talking about a high yield savings account, what is that percentage?
So I know we just lost a half percentage point I think last week. So probably at a 3.5. Don't quote me.
Okay.
On average, if some of them are going to be slightly higher, if
Hmm.
depending on how much you're depositing, some are going to be slightly lower. But
Hmm.
there are multiple ways that you can kind of just compare them and see what the rates are today. But again, the rates are going to change. Um, but yeah, we're around that percentage range right now.
Yeah. So it's important because, again, as we're talking about, we're using some of these words like equity, savings, high yield, different things like that, where a lot of times we hear words, but we don't really know what they mean. What does this actually look like for me in practical terms? And you are a person who can teach that because you're what? The 2025 what?
National Financial Educator of the Year.
Come on now. I'll take it for the both of us. Look, so if you want somebody to teach you about, well, I literally can't bring you anybody better than Rachel. She has a proven track record. She works with children as young as 3 and goes all the way on up. She teaches the inner child in all of us at all of our various ages, right? Because we are the culmination of every age we've ever been. So the 5-year-old that swallowed that nickel to make sure that her older brother did not get it while her parents were in the grocery store, look, is the same person who can sit up here and learn how to build wealth in a healthier way. So I'm not chomping on all my dollars now, too. Like a salad.
Yes, the curse is broken for
Come
sure.
on, come on. I eat Benji's for dinner, y'all. Look.
Eat.
Yes, yes, Shane. The curse is broken. I am not the piggy bank. So
Okay.
it is so important. So, y'all, her contact information is in the chat room on the YouTube side of life. You can also, in the write up, all of her links are there. Are you still taking clients, Rachel?
I am. I
All right.
am.
All right. And what is that process like? What do people need to do in order to set up one personal sessions with you? And but what also was it if they want you to come out to schools or organizations or clubs, what needs to be done?
So on my website, rachelhanibal.com, there is a button there that says work with me. And you
Hmm.
can click that button, and there will be two options there if you want the one on one personal finance session, which are virtual. And you have an option to select the Millionaires in Training option, which is, group classes and for me to come out to wherever you are for any age to speak about finances or to teach a workshop. So there are the two options you will find on rachelhanibal.com on the Work With Me tab.
I think, and this is a real time thought, that it would be great if people would purchase like family gift certificates to have these conversations with Rachel. Is that something that they could do, Rachel,
This
even as
happens all the time. Someone just
okay,
bought one the other day for someone else, for their daughter. Yeah. So people
fantastic.
often gift sessions to other people, to family members and to spouses sometimes. So yeah, that
Hmm.
happens all the time.
Yeah, I think it's a great. There's so many gift possibilities here, if we want to call them stocking stuffers. We're coming into Kwanzaa as well. There's an opportunity there. You know, Kuji Chakalia is my favorite Kwanzaa principle, self-determination. Then there's collective work and responsibility. There's cooperative economics, Ujima Ujama. So there are so many reasons to buy and help as we're moving forward collectively and collaboratively. And to have a wealth educator, right, teaching you, taking you from where you are, differentiating what you need in order for you to learn what you need to do around this money and finances. For me, one of my breakthrough moments was saying money is just numbers, and I'm not scared of money, so I'm not scared of numbers, so I'm not scared of money. And that whole idea, we started the top of the hour as she asked the question, you know, what does financial freedom mean to you? And we really hope you take this time to sit with that question, but take the time to answer
Mhm.
that question. What does financial freedom mean to you? And when I did that for myself, it was, as she talked about at the top, getting rid of the school loans, right? Getting rid of credit card debt, getting rid of all of these things. But I also had to take a look at what those numbers were. And I'm a spreadsheet person. So I just put it all in the spreadsheet, looked at that number, opened my eyes, looked at that number a little bit more.
Squinted a little bit.
Squinted a little bit, like I did all
Turn
of
my
that.
music up. Turn my
Come
gospel
on,
music up.
come on, right? Then thought about them credit cards, and I was like, yeah, I had a good time. I did have a good time though, right? But it was like I now, right? How many more good times could I have had with all the interest that I had paid? And then I even sat down with my cousin and we talked about it. And then I did what I always do. I got a notebook and a pen, and I wrote out my plan. And I was like, if you pay this amount over time and then watch it come down, come down, come down to the point, as you're saying, right? Then finally it was zero. I didn't know anybody anything. And while that was coming down, my credit score was going up. And next thing I know, that thing was saying 850. And I was like, well, how much? They was like, that's it. Like, that's it. Right. So
You arrived.
right. I'm there. So now it's like, how long do I sit on top of this space? But it was a practice. It wasn't a one and done. It did not happen overnight. It was strategic, it was purposeful, and it was designed to be that. And it was one that I knew that I could put on, rinse, and repeat. So, Rachel, thoughts, comments?
Well, the only thoughts or comments I have is that, moving forward, we just have to ask important questions. We have to ask better questions.
Mhm.
When we're buying stuff for Christmas, ask yourself why. When you are not doing things that's going to get you to financial freedom, ask yourself why not. And be honest about the answers to those questions. And I'm always here and ready to serve, but there are multiple ways that you can get the information that you need and get the encouragement, the tools to help you do better with your money and build a better relationship with money. And that is what we need to all be working on moving forward.
Yeah. And I think one of the other things that you mentioned, and I'm sure the people caught it, was even in the process of you overcoming your hurdles and throughout your journey, you also enlisted the help that you needed
Mhm.
along the way. So when you recognize, hey, wait a minute, this is some poverty PTSD, let me get a therapist here to
Mhm.
help me work through this. Right. Anything else you want to add in that space?
Well, it's really important to where you get the information from
Mhm.
and how you are open to receive it, right? Again, another reason why after 12 years I'm still getting new clients and still, being successful is because I make everyone feel comfortable. And so it allows them to open up to receive, because we all
Mhm.
know we can just Google some information about how to invest or whatever. But, we have a lot of people who talk down to us, who,
Mhm.
beat us up for not knowing certain things at a certain age.
Mhm.
And that is not great for empowering you to make changes with your finances. And so you need to make sure that you are mindful of where and who you're getting certain
Yes.
information from, because this is a very vulnerable space when you are building wealth. And so I do just want you to check in with your feelings
Yeah.
when you are following certain people or watching certain videos or connecting with certain people when it comes to your finances. Is this person you can't beat someone down to greatness.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so if someone's beating you down or making you feel shameful or guilt or whatever it may be, you have not found the correct person. And
Come
it
on.
just correlates with what we mentioned about therapists, right? Some people you have to find the right person that makes you feel comfortable so that the real work can be
Yes.
done. And so I just want you to, don't gloss over that very important step.
I thank you so much. I'm so glad that you said that. And whenever I'm working with my clients, pay attention to the thoughts that are coming through your mind, right? Pay attention to your feelings, the emotions that you're experiencing, and pay attention to the body sensations that you're experiencing. Because sometimes something might sound right in the head, but it ain't feeling right in the belly.
Mhm.
And you have to learn your body's language. Sometimes your body is screaming out to you lies, false, don't believe. And just like you said, no, this is an empowering opportunity, not one to beat you down. For sure, for sure, for sure. Look, we got people in here saying truth. We got Brian saying so true. A lot of my own colleagues do not want to work with us. Yes, so you gotta get your right. You gotta get your tribe together, because your tribe is here to lift you up and protect you and help you to move forward and to build.
Yep.
All right. Final words, Rachel. Anything that you want to say to the people, encourage the people? I'm going to tell y'all, buy the book, click the website, get some services, get some gift cards. Y'all know I'm here to support you and help you live your greatest life. I bring you the best every time. Here she is, the 2025 what, Rachel?
National Financial Educator of the Year.
I don't get no better than this. I'm telling you.
I will just say, make sure you follow me on social media. On Instagram, I am at pep talks underscore and Rachel Hannibal on LinkedIn and Facebook. Just make sure you follow me and stay up to date with all the happenings around financial freedom and wealth building. And as always, you have two options. You can either change or you can stay the same. I'm here to
Ooh.
support you in changing and growing.
Oh, she told y'all out. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when she come for you? Let All right, there is her Instagram link in the chat. We thank you all for joining us. As you know, we are here on the holiday season for many of us. We wish you all the best, a wealthy, healthy. This is why walls of wellness, right? Financial wealth, financial health is very important. And we do not let one moment take us into a sick space in any way, shape, or form, and in our finances as well. We have to be mindful of all of that. So, y'all, this may be the last show, but y'all know I'm good to pop up at any moment in time. Look, but if it is the last show, we wish you definitely a wonderful end to your 2025. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. And y'all know y'all gonna see me in 2026. Rachel, thank you so, so much for making time for us today. And we just wish you all the best and continued success.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed my time.
You're welcome. All right, y'all. As always, God bless. And until I see you again, make sure you continue to live your greatest life. All right. See you soon. Bye, y'all.